and welcome back to my channel, the channel that you probably didn't know that you needed to wake up to who you are and live your glorious life. So today I wanted to talk about resistance, and such a fitting term because I've had quite a bit of resistance, and I think we all experience resistance. We just didn't probably put it in that particular term on getting like another video out. So as I continue to grow and want to be upfront about my journey as much as I can from where I'm starting, because I know it's only going to get better. There are going to be some bumpy roads ahead, and that this is going to be something that continues to grow, that it will get better. But just stick with me because the information that I have is so valuable. It is. Because once you start to like awaken and see certain things that I am speaking about, it could change your life. And just a simple changing of what we call resistance can definitely open up the floodgates and to any situation or issue that you may be having. So in talking about resistance, I wanted to go over what the definition was. So I'm going to read to you. So we all know, I would say, think we have an idea what resistance is, but I just thought it would be just fitting to go ahead and just read a definition of it. And it says that it's the refusal to accept or comply with something, the attempt to prevent something by action or argument. So that's I guess it's the Oxford Dictionary. I would think that it would be Webster. But anyway, that's the definition that came up when I went to Google. And I also wanted to just give, just for the scientific viewpoint on what resistance is, it's the degree to which a substance or device opposes the passage of an electric current, causing energy dissipation. Now, I wanted to read the scientific one because when you look at resistance and you're blocking the flow of resistance, what you're going to have is an incomplete circuit. Okay, so that's important because when you are blocking your flow, you're not allowing yourself to get all that you want to receive, which means that you're cutting off literally your circuit of flow when you are putting resistance into the mix. So what one of the things that Abraham, and like I said, this is a lot of referral to Abraham Hicks, talks a lot about the path of least resistance. And so the path of least resistance is always identified by what you feel is, I would say, easier, not complicated. These are just some of the ways that you can feel into the path of least resistance. You're happier. There's a flow. There's an ease to it. That's what we want. We're wanting to allow things to happen and not bump up against it. Abraham Hicks always refers to the when you're going upstream, you're going away from you're going against what is natural, what is flowing. When you are going downstream, you're going with the flow of the current. You're going with the flow like a river. You can't go upstream up a river without some type of resistance. And if you just allow yourself to go with the stream of the current that's going downhill, it makes life so much easier. It's fun. It's a joy. It's, like I said, it's ease. All the words that we talked about before. Now, so how does this apply in your life? Because again, the path of least resistance is what you want to aim for in your life. So When you find yourself fighting against something, um, let's use an example that I think I'm very familiar with, and a lot of people probably could attest to as well. Is trying to lose weight, right? So, in losing weight, um, if you are in a place where you hate your body, and like, say for instance, you walk past the mirror, and every time you walk past the mirror, you're like, my thighs are just like, huge, or, um, there's a certain part about your body or your anatomy that you're not happy with. Every single time that you decide that that part of me is ugly, all you're doing is giving it more energy. And it is something that you're doing to yourself that makes you not feel good, which is a path of resistance. And you want to go the path of least resistance. So every time, I guess, you're shaming yourself or you're hating yourself, you're not liking a particular part about your body, the only way that you can start to go downhill with that thought is to release it. And when I actually, before you can release it, I would say you have to accept it. Because if you don't accept where you are, you're going to keep fighting against what you don't like. The only way to get to where you want to go is to be able to release that resistance. So that means that you have to come in agreement with where you are. Because get this, like, if we just start battling or trying to figure out how to get rid of a thing, you're putting yourself again in a place of resistance, and you're fighting, through struggle, through hard work, to try to figure out how to get rid of something, which is not going to be productive. When you accept yourself, bring yourself into an understanding, like, hey, so you ease yourself into feeling better about the situation. You may not like the fact that your thighs are really big. You may not like certain things about yourself, but in fighting against it, it doesn't help. So when you come to a place of just accepting who you are, accepting yourself, you stop the fighting, and you kind of, if you just kind of think about it, it becomes like, this is okay. I can do this. It's not a fight. So you relax, you allow things to come to you to help you start to release the weight that you're not happy about. The only way that those thoughts can come in is when you put down the fight. So that's just one idea. And so another thing that you can think about too is using imagination. Neville Goddard talks a lot about imagination as being the way for you to move out of situations, because when you use your imagination, you are coming in line with who you truly are, or who you're wanting to be, who you desire to be. There's a version of you that is coexisting in this particular moment that matches everything that you want. The reason that you're able to think of them is because it exists. There is a way to get to that version of yourself. If you couldn't think of it, then of course there wouldn't be anything for you to aspire to. But because of the fact that you're able to think it, it is a possibility in your life. So everything that you're able to conjure up and think of are things that you are able to do and line up with. And this is something, again, Neville Goddard talks a lot about going to sleep with your with whatever it is that you're assuming that you want to be or do or have, like continuously imagining and feeling that thing as happening, and that without a shadow of a doubt that you have it, and living in that moment. And it's not just imagining it, it's having the feeling and believing that it is true, even if it's just for a few seconds, to come in line with that version of yourself that you desire to be, and continuously massaging that thought into your mind is a way to line up with that particular aspect of yourself. There's so much that we can talk about in this particular frame right now, as far as when you think of something and you imagine it, and stepping into who it is that you're desiring to be, and acting as if you are that person living that life of that future version of yourself, and inspiration and things will start to happen. But this video is just more on just understanding that when you have resistance, it's best to let the resistance go and to follow the path of least resistance. And again, as far as following the path of least resistance, you will know that you're following the path of least resistance when there's flow, there's ease. It feels good. And sometimes you may have to just drop a particular subject altogether, because to get in the path of least resistance, if you're having an upstream moment about something that doesn't feel good, and the more you continue to think about it and it still makes you feel good and makes you feel bad, then that means that you might just have to stop the thought altogether on that particular thing and think of something else that feels better. So again, you don't want to fight against the flow. You want flow, you want ease. Those are the things that make you feel good. You want to go downstream with your current of life and your thoughts. You want them to feel better. And also, I definitely want to talk about this too, about the self being pushed out, and understanding that that what you're seeing, the reflections that you're seeing are just feedback on where you are vibrationally. And once you start to understand that it's up to you to start to change your vibrational stance where you are, and then allow God to start putting in signals that you are changing your vibrational stance. Because when you are fighting against where you are, all you're doing is getting more of what you see in your life. And if you don't want that, then it's up to you to change that vibrational direction and start to hone in things that feel better. And so back to the not liking your body aspect. So like I said, if honing in on your body makes you feel bad and it makes you continue to hate your body, then I wouldn't stay in that particular mindset, and I would think about some other things that make you feel better. But just as an idea of changing the vibrational tone about your body. So yeah, let's say maybe you don't like your thighs. You think that they're thick and blah, blah, blah. They're just not attractive. But what could you find about yourself that you do like? Because for you to identify a part of your body that you hate and magnetize, or just basically emphasize that particular aspect of your body that you cannot stand, again, brings more of it. But it's bringing more of something that you already don't like. So let's find something on our bodies that we like. So let's say you love the way that your eyes look, um, compliment yourself and look at your eyes and just admire them for what they are. Start to admire other parts of your body that you feel good about. So you may not like your legs, but you may like your eyes. You might like your lips, your nose, your toes. There's other parts of your body that I'm sure that you can find that you like. Start honing in on the love that you can have for yourself. Because again, when you're not liking a part of your body, again, this resistance, it's pushing you away from what you're desiring. And it's an indicator that there's something that you want to change, and then you're seeing the evidence of it, and so then you're mad about it. You're not feeling good. So anyway, hone into those things that you want to see reflected back to you, because again, when you are negative and you going upstream, you get more of it. When you start to flow and go with the path of least resistance, things around you start to change, and they start to you start to agree with yourself. You start to feel better about yourself. You start to have more flow and ease rather than the resistance that you're putting up about certain things. So that is the conclusion of what I wanted to talk about today. Again, it's the path of least resistance, the path of allowing yourself to tap into the version of the self that you want to be in. Allow yourself to feel good about where you're desiring to go. Again, if it's something that does not feel good, release it, let it go, and focus on something that feels good. When you're releasing it, it doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck there and that you're accepting something that you really don't like. Just understand that when you are accepting it, it allows you to start getting the inspiration and make the changes that you want to make in your life. Fighting against it just makes it stay there and makes it more. So I hope this video was helpful. Please continue to tune in, because there will be more videos. They will get better and better. And again, so thank you again for coming to my channel. Have a good one. Bye.